Let's welcome on board the management of IKS. We are being joined by Nithya Balasubramanian, Whole-time Director and CFO of IKS Health, joining us on the show. Hi Nithya, good morning and great to be speaking with you yet again. Lots been happening with respect to IKS as well as the whole sector as well. So Nithya, let's start with how many of the full platform deals are currently in the pipeline? What's the outlook for IKS and what's the expected conversion rate over the next 2 quarters? If you can help us with the visibility there.
I'm happy to share what we have done so far. I think if you go back and look since Q3, which is when we signed our first platform deal, we now have 8 such platform deals that we have signed on. So these are all deals where the customer is taking all 16 features of our platform from the get-go. And all of these also tend to be very long-term deals. Palomar, we have disclosed that it's a 15-year contract. With Western Washington, it's a 30-year contract. So these tend to be very long-term deals as well.
Okay, and Nithya, what are the key drivers behind maintaining your EBITDA margins in the low mid-30s despite your growth investments? How will margins normalize once equity's margin profile converges with IKS's legacy margin band?
A lot of the business model transformation that we wanted to achieve with Acquity is almost there. So if you look at the expansion all the way from 24% pro forma EBITDA in FY24 all the way through to 35%, the majority of that delta has been driven through the business model transformation. So I think going forward, you'll see a little bit of push and pull in terms of the leverage that we typically tend to see because of the continuous deployment of technology that we see in various features. I think AI spend is something that we have stepped up quite meaningfully. We are now spending almost 5% of our revenues in R&D, and you are likely to see that number inch up going forward as well. We also want to make sure that we leave enough wriggle room for us to continuously invest in our SG&A spend. We do see opportunity in other market spaces. We have started looking at hospital systems. So we want to be able to retain the room to continue to invest in R&D as well as SG&A. So while the leverage from the technology that I'm building and deploying shows up, you'll also see a step up investments in this space. So which is why from here on, we are comfortable saying that we will likely remain in this early to mid-30s range. We're of course very happy that we reached this range earlier than we promised. But going forward, we think this is quite sustainable for us.
Right. And Nithya, given your $225 billion TAM, which is your total addressable market, which subsegments from transcription, RCM, clinical documentation, or anything else are the fastest growing today?
Actually, we are seeing all of these segments expand. If you look at clinical documentation services, you look at RCM services, or even VBC, they're all expanding at a fairly equal pace. For us, I think VBC, given the smaller base, it's a smaller part of our business today, is obviously growing faster. But honestly, there is enough and more opportunity across the entire continuum.
All right, and also Nithya, if we take a look at your Q2 earnings, now 45% of your revenues are concentrated among your top 10 customers. Are there plans to diversify this going ahead?
So one, our diversification meaningfully increased after we acquired Acquity. So some of you might recall that legacy IKS had about 50 customers, but with Acquity, now after a little bit of tail cutting, we now have 650 odd customers. The concentration is actually an issue only when we believe there is not enough room for growth within my top 10 or top 5. What I want to share, therefore, is we believe that there is still significant room for us to continuously increase our share of wallet with our top 5 and top 10 customers. Both the vectors of growth, which is selling to more and more physicians within that same group and selling more features to those physician groups, both of them still remain true for my top 10. So concentration, top 10 is about 42 to 45%, 45% of our revenues today. But we are rather comfortable with this because we see meaningful growth runway even in our top 10.
How do you plan to scale the India delivery workforce versus the US deep tech team in the next 2 years, especially with rising automation now at play?
So both of these are focused for us. One, because we have always been very forthcoming that AI is the most strategic vector for us in the future. We have recently hired a new chief AI officer who's based out of the US. He is supplementing our, what we call our center of excellence for AI in the US with additional talent. So that is very important for us. And given the deals that we have struck, right, we have been talking to you about these deals on an ongoing basis every quarter. In order to be able to support the delivery of these deals, of course, we have more recently started ramping up in India as well. For several quarters, we were actually declining in terms of employee count because we were trying to optimize Acquity business model. But now that that's largely done, you're now starting to see our employee count in India also go up to be able to support the new deals.
All right, but Nithya, how will the new head of AI and marketing might reshape IKS product positioning over the next 12 months? If you can help us with your views here.
See, when it comes to AI, we have multiple use cases that we are going after. We've got 16 different features on our platform. So there are some that lend themselves well to AI and Gen AI. Coding, for instance, we're working on autonomous coding products in certain specialties. In 2 specialties, it's already gone live. We are now focusing our attention on expanding the number of specialties. We are working on, again, complete automation of prior authorization and patient financial clearance. We're deploying agentic AI in workflows that are actually able to connect patient financial clearance, coding, scribing, as well as the RCM workflows. So these are some of the areas where you will actually start to see significant levels of technology and specifically AI and agentic AI deployment going forward. And with marketing, of course, we're very, very happy to have these people on board, and they bring with them very, very deep experience and rich experience in their respective fields. We are, of course, hoping to step up our marketing investments as well to be able to create as much push-pull from the industry as we are pushing out our concepts and pushing out our platform into the market.
Okay, Nithya, really appreciate you joining us today, and good luck for the quarters to come, and let's see where Acquity's acquisition takes you. But yes, looking good for the financials as of now. So that was the management of IKS joining us on the show, talking to us about their most recent acquisition and the growth outlook ahead as well. That stock is doing up pretty well, 2% higher in trade as we speak.